Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Housing Nerd. Today's theme is one theme only, and that is price reductions. Price reduced, price reduced, price reduced. That's what we're seeing. Lots of price cuts, folks. Lots of price cuts. So it's good to see price cuts, but if you're a buyer, you should not celebrate yet because there are other things going on that make it more difficult on buyers. So specifically, we're seeing a slowdown in the number of listings and the number of new listings. That's what we're seeing. And we're going to get to that in a minute. So more on that in today's video. But thanks for joining me. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Jason Ferrier. I am the Housing Nerd, and I'm located just outside of Columbus, Ohio. I'm a realtor. I'm an investor. Been doing it for 7 years. And this is my weekly Redfin update. So I go through the latest housing market data with y'all. Sometimes it's recorded, sometimes it's live. Today it's live. So if you have a housing market question, let's get to it today in the chat. Give me a thumbs up, give me a like, and share this video and tell other people about the Housing Nerd if they want to know what's happening in the housing market. So what we'll do today is we'll look at the latest Redfin update and the latest housing market data nationally. Then we'll look at the metro level data. And the metro level data are requests from you as the viewer. So I have people on my channel that have asked for specific metros to be analyzed in today's video, and we'll do those in the second half. And if you have one, just put it in the comments and I'll get to it today. And, I plan to stay on as long as needed. So, unless it goes like an extremely long period of time. But, sometimes these things go, 1.5 hours sometimes. But we want to cover as many metros and as much data as possible. All right. What's up, Chevy? How you doing? Thanks for joining us. All right. I'm sure there's others joining now. Let's get started with this. Yeah, man, it's all about price reductions. Like, price reductions have exploded. So check this out. Like, this is some of the data we're going to look at today, but look at this. This is a here we go. So the latest Redfin update says that we have 6.2% of all listings had a price cut in the last 4 weeks. That's what that means. That doesn't mean that there's only 6.2% of all listings had a price cut in the history of the listing. You're going to see that in today's data, but this means that 6.2% of all homes that were actually on the market had a price cut in the last 4 weeks. So what they do is they look at basically from February 3rd through March 2nd, and then they try to figure out, hey, how many of these homes had price cuts? And that was 6.2%. And you can see that's a 4-year high for price cuts, 4-year high. So more on that in a minute. We're going to jump into this Redfin article real quick. So this is called Pending Home Sales Are Down 6%, but falling mortgage rates are starting to attract buyers. You're going to see that today. Pending sales are down. There's no doubt about it. People just aren't buying. And there's a few reasons for that. Obviously, inflation, all the economic turmoil, all that stuff, uncertainty, I suppose. But you also have a massive amount of listings on the market that really nobody wants, right? They're kind of just sitting there. They're dead inventory. What you don't have, though, are new listings. New listings are only up 2.3%. That's it. So, and that's not for every market. That's nationally. But there's just not a lot of inventory hitting the market. And so the inventory that is on the market is stale, quite frankly. All right. Mortgage rates dipped to their lowest level in nearly 3 months this week, which has pushed mortgage purchase applications up, but pending home sales are still falling. Southern California is bucking the trend with pending sales increasing. All right. So, like we said, pending home sales fell 6.4% from the year earlier during the 4 weeks ending March 2nd. That's the biggest decline since November 2023. Yeah, sales are sluggish because the median U.S. sale price is up 3.2%. And the typical home buyer's monthly housing payment is just $26 shy of the all-time high. Yeah, very close to the all-time high. Plus, some prospective buyers are wary about making big purchases amid economic uncertainty, including concerns about tariffs, slowing economic growth, and layoffs. But home buyers have gotten some relief in the past week as the daily average 30-year fixed mortgage rate dipped 6.7%, the lowest level in nearly 3 months. That seems to have brought some people off the sideline. Mortgage purchase applications rose 9% week over week. So tell me, do you think there's more buyer demand coming back in the market? I want to know. I'd like to know. I don't know. It's a weird time. Mortgage purchase applications, I'm not shocked those are going up because rates have been dropping. I checked today, I think the rates were like, 6.72%. So, we'll talk about that more today. But I already got a question here. Are first-time home buyers entering the market? If so, what is the average down payment needed to buy in this market? Wow. That's first off, I appreciate the question. So I guess that really depends on where you are, what type of house you're buying, what your personal situation is. Like, that's pretty hard for me to answer. I'm not sure I can answer that one. It's case by case. I mean, there are programs depending on what you want to do. There are programs where you don't have to put any money down. Those exist. You're just basically getting sometimes you're getting like a second loan or a grant from, the state, sometimes the federal government. But I would talk to a mortgage professional, Chevy. I would talk to a mortgage professional that, that can help you as a first-time home buyer, if you are a first-time home buyer anyway, understand really the options out there. And it also depends on what price point you're in, right? I mean, some people put down 50% on a house. Some people put down nothing. So that's pretty tough for me to answer specifically. But yeah, I would definitely get with a mortgage professional. I'm not a mortgage professional. I'm a realtor. So I can't speak to that exactly. What's up, Smoosh Star? I like this, Captain Caveman. I hear it. All right, let's go back to this article. The housing market looks different in many metro areas. In parts of California, for instance, sales and listings are rising. Pending sales increased in just 6 major U.S. metros this week. So they look at the top, usually 50 U.S. metros, and they call those major. And they're saying basically that, there hasn't been a huge uptick in pending sales. And they're right. It hasn't really been at all. In Los Angeles, pending sales, this thing keeps moving, sorry. In Los Angeles, pending sales rose 8.5% year over year, the biggest increase among the major U.S. metros. It's followed by Anaheim, Phoenix, Riverside, and Columbus, Ohio, and Sacramento. On the selling side, California is home to 4 of the 5 biggest year-over-year upticks in new listings. First comes Phoenix, where listings are up 27%, followed by Sacramento, 27%, Anaheim, 20%, Los Angeles, 20%, and San Diego, 17.5%. All right. Then they talk about the Los Angeles market basically picking up because of the wildfires, obviously killed the market for a while. Now that's starting to pick up. I'm actually going to show you guys a listing today in the Pacific Palisades that I found on Zillow. I thought it was pretty interesting to look at. We're going to look at some other listings on Zillow. Redfin's search function is not great for homes for sale. Zillow is much better in my opinion. So we're going to take a look at some of those. I think they're pretty interesting. But as far as a quote from a Redfin premier agent. They're saying prices are up, homes are selling rapidly, and overall the housing market is strong. This is in LA. Said Sam, a Redfin premier agent in Los Angeles. That was true before the wildfires, and it's true now. The fires have made it tough to get insurance, and they're causing buyers to look away from the hills. But the spring home buying season is definitely underway for the rest of Los Angeles. Some listings are getting lots of offers, and the best ones are going for 200 or 300 over asking price. Okay. So that's happening in LA, I guess. So we're going to skip down here to the leading indicators. This is like the mortgage stuff, and then they talk about home buying demand briefly. Daily average 30-year fixed mortgage rate, 6.72%. That's what I saw this morning. That's near the lowest level since December 6th, down from 7.09%. Wow. Yeah, mortgage rates are less, but the median home payment right now, mortgage payment, is really close to the all-time high, even though rates are actually down from last year. Can you imagine that? Like rates are cheaper now, or they're lower, sorry, than they were last year. So it's nuts, right? It's that's because the price keeps going up. Weekly average 30-year fixed mortgage rate, 6.76%. That's the weekly rate. Mortgage purchase applications, look at this, up 9% from a week earlier. I mean, they just, people are starting to apply for mortgages because rates are down, right? And it's up 2% year over year. Redfin Homebuyer Demand Index, I don't pay attention to that. Touring activity, up 25% from the start of the year. Last year at this time, it was up 24%, so I guess it's up 1% year over year. As someone who does an open house every weekend almost, basically every weekend I'm doing an open house for a client, for a home that's listed, I can tell you that it's sluggish. As they say in airplanes, sluggish like a wet sponge. It just is. Like, it's not like, you may have like 4 or 5 different groups of folks come by, couples, or just 4 or 5 different types of buyers come through an open house during the day on a Sunday. Now the weather's been kind of bad in Ohio. Last week though, it was nice. Still didn't see a lot of people. So the touring activity is definitely low. Google searches for homes up over 20% from a month earlier. So people looking for homes on Google, I guess that means that they're more excited about the housing market versus last month. But compared to last year, it's the same. All right, now we go to median sale price. This median sale price, pending sales, new listings, active listings, all that jazz. This is for the top 400 U.S. metros in the U.S. Only the top 400 metros. I'll say it again. We look at the national data, then we look at the metro level data after this. So, but this is just national. So it's probably way different than what you're seeing in your market. Median sale price, $379,000, $350,000. That house in the middle is median. That's up 3.2% year over year. It's amazing that this hasn't fallen underneath last year at all. And I don't think it fell. We'll look at the graph in a minute, but I don't think it fell under 2023 in 2024. It just hasn't. That median price keeps going up. It is the smallest increase though since September. So that gap between last year and this year continues to shrink. At some point, you would think that unaffordability is going to create this to go slower and then maybe go underneath the previous year. Not that that means you're going to find a deal. It just means that nationally, that's the way it is. Median asking price, $417,000. That's up 6.4% year over year. Wow. Median monthly mortgage payment, $2,772 at a 6.76% rate. That's 5.3% higher than last year. So last year, it's on a monthly basis was actually cheaper to buy a home. Not because of the interest rate, because the interest rate was higher. It's actually because home prices on average, or the median, was actually lower last year. So yeah, that's what prices do, folks. They raise that payment. Pending sales, 75,172. Pay attention to this one. This is a big one. Big stat here. That's down 6.4% year over year. That's the biggest decline in over a year, except the 4 weeks ending January 19th. So pending sales, when homes go into contract, that's down a lot. It just is. But that could change soon, I think, if people keep dropping their price and we get more new listings. This is the real big problem, though. If you're a buyer, this is the biggest problem you're having right now, because I'm not hearing about people getting deals. If you're hearing about that, let me know. I want to hear somebody. I want somebody to come on this channel and tell me that they just got a deal on a house that was listed on the market, and it was a house that they, like a good house that doesn't need a ton of work. I'm not talking about, a rehab job. I'm talking about an actual move-in ready home with like hardwood floors or, rehab bathrooms and kitchens and all that. Something you can just move into that would typically sell fast and over asking over the last few years. I don't hear about anyone snatching those right now for discounts. I just don't hear about it. And it's because new listings are so bad. Look at this. New listings are horrible. Only up 2.4% year over year. This is where the distress is, folks. If there's going to be distress in the housing market, you're going to see it in the new listings. You can't have a crash. You can't have massive price declines across the board for the average everyday person. I'm not talking about $1 million listings. I'm talking about the average everyday house. You're not going to have huge price changes unless new listings go up substantially. And by the way, pending sales, demand has to be low. So I just can't reiterate that enough. New listings is where the pain will be seen, because when someone's in pain, they're going to have to sell their house, right? They're going to have to. Like, if somebody's like, man, I can't make my mortgage payment because of taxes, insurance, whatever, the economy, stock market, whatever their problem is, job loss, and they need to sell their house, they're going to list their home for sale, and it's going to hit the market. It's going to hit new listings. That's where you're going to see it. So if this number doesn't increase, you can forget about any type of big price discovery. Active listings, 918,795, 9.8% higher than last year, but that's the smallest increase in a year. So the number of homes for sale is not skyrocketing. It's just not. I don't know what else to say. I know it's frustrating. A lot of people are frustrated because there aren't more homes for sale. But if you had more homes for sale, then you could see more price discounts, and you'd see more people buying homes, by the way, I think, because there'd be enough competition out there on the average everyday house in the suburbs, right? Or in the city or in the country that everybody can afford, or a lot of people can afford, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 houses, maybe. You're not seeing a lot of those, at least not great ones. Months of supply, 4.4 months of supply. This is the interesting one, because months of supply is how many months do we have right now at our current pace of sales? Well, we have 4.4. This has steadily gone up over the past year or so, year and a half. The problem is it doesn't take into account the fact that the homes on the market, people don't want. Like, there are homes I'm going to show you today on the market that have been on the market like a year, and they've had like 10 price cuts. Nobody's bought them. There must be a reason why nobody's buying that home. But the home around the corner that sold in like a week is because it was priced right and it was the right house for the market. Those are still selling. Again, I'm not hearing about people getting massive discounts. If you do, tell me. I'd love to hear about people getting massive discounts. Share of homes off the market in 2 weeks or less, that's 33.4. That's down from 38%, meaning basically you've got less homes are selling faster. Homes are taking longer to sell. I guess that's a better way to say it. Median days on market, look at that, 55 days. 8 days, near the longest span since March of 2020. So it's taking a lot longer to sell a home. That's my point. Active listings are not impressive. 918,000 is not near enough. It's definitely below pre-pandemic levels. But median days on market's 55, meaning it takes a long time to sell a house now, generally speaking, if it's not priced right and it's not the right house for the market. So it's like I'm going to show you today, like a house in Cleveland that's like Cleveland, Ohio. That I think it's over like $10 million in Cleveland. That house isn't going to move. It's going to take forever to move that house, right? And that's contributing to this days on market, and it's contributing to the months of supply. You just have homes that are not desirable for most people. Share of homes sold above list price, 22.4. That's down from 24. Basically, there's still 22.4% of all homes. People are paying more than the actual list price was. Average sale to list price ratio, 98.2. That's down from 98.5. So basically, people are getting about a 2% discount on average for the homes that are selling approximately. Redfin's metro level data includes the 50 most popular US metros, and that's what we're going to review next. So this is just like like a broad snapshot of certain metros. Then we'll dive deep into specific metros that you guys requested. All right, median sale price, where it went up the most? Where did the sale price go up the most? That's Milwaukee, Nassau County, New York, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Anaheim. Where did it go down the most? Austin, Tampa, Atlanta, Jacksonville, and San Antonio, Houston, and Fort Worth. It declined in 7 of the top 50 metros, the median sale price year over year. So there is somewhat of a change going on there, right? We're seeing, at one point it was 0. Like all the top 50 metros were actually going up year over year. Now, 43 of them. So there is some pain there. But look where the pain is. It's like plain as day where the pain is. Texas, Florida, you've got, I guess you have a Georgia location in there. So you've got Southwest and Texas. That's where all the pain is in pricing anyway. Lots of new building there, lots of unaffordability with insurance and whatnot. So that probably contributes to it. Pending sales. Sorry, guys. Pending sales, where they're up the most: Los Angeles, Anaheim, Phoenix, Riverside, Columbus, Sacramento. Where pending sales are down the most: Atlanta, Miami, Houston, Jacksonville, and Minneapolis. So pending sales only increased in 6 metros across the country of the top 50. So you've got 44 metros where pending sales actually were down year over year. I'm surprised Columbus is up, but it is. New listings. Where are we adding the most new listings? Phoenix, Sacramento, Anaheim, Los Angeles, San Diego. Where are new listings down the most? Look at this. Detroit down 20%. It's crazy. Warren, Michigan, Fort Worth, Portland, Oregon, and Newark, New Jersey all saw double-digit decreases in new listings year over year. We'll buzz through these charts real quick. Median sale price up 3.5%, 3.2%, sorry, year over year. Look at that. I mean, quite frankly, it's difficult to understand how median sale price hasn't crossed underneath last year yet, but it hasn't, just hasn't. Median asking price. Look at that. It's just right up 6.3%. So people haven't got a clue yet. Well, this tells me 2 things. One, we're listing more and more expensive houses for sale. We are. That's what's going on with that. I mean, you're just not seeing those affordable houses listed like you should in most situations in the housing market, because the people that own those houses, either one, don't want to give them up because they don't want to move up into that next house because interest rates are high and home prices are ridiculous. So people are like, I'm not going to sell my $250,000 house in Columbus, Ohio and move up into a $500,000 house now. Interest rates are too high, and that $500,000 house used to be $400,000. Why? I'm not doing that. I'm just going to stay put. Or they're hanging on to their house and renting it to somebody. That's what they're doing. Right? Maybe they're going to go rent instead of selling their house. But yeah, you can just see it. It's that's my opinion of what's happening and why that median asking price continues to be elevated. Homebuyer housing payments. I mean, this is higher than it was last year, higher than it was the year before, higher than it was the year before that. Every year it's got more and more expensive when it comes to the housing payments. So I think there's a lot of people that have said, I'm just going to keep waiting to buy a house because I think there's going to be a crash. There may be a crash coming. I'm not saying there's not a crash coming, but I'm saying that sometimes, things have gotten so out of bounds that waiting may not pay off. I don't know. But the deal has to make sense for you, not anybody else. So I'm not saying go out and buy. I'm just saying that the folks 2-3 years ago that said, just keep waiting, the deal of your dreams is coming. It's like, all right, I don't know why you'd tell somebody that. I don't know. That's a strange thing to say, I think, because we don't know. We really have no idea what's going to happen, right? Pending sales. Look at this. Way down. down 6.4%. There's just nothing to buy. There's nothing to buy on the market. That's good anyway, unless you guys tell me something different. But in my area, there's not. New listings of homes for sale. This is what I'm talking about. Look at this. Only up 2.3%. Like, there's just not a lot of new listings. And look at active listings. Somebody needs to show real estate mindset this chart. He avoids this chart like a plague. Why? Because it shows there's not an explosion of inventory. I like inventory. I want more homes to sell. I want more homes for my buyers. I want more homes to buy as an investor. They're just not there. They're just not. And then 4.4 months of supply on the market. Look at this. It's going down. It's not going up. It is a 4-year high, but that doesn't mean much when most of the inventory is stuff people don't want. All right. We've kind of beat that to death. Let's do this one. Homes sold in a median of 55 days. Look at that. 4-year high. Homes are just taking a lot longer to sell unless they're priced right and they're good homes. Okay. Let's dive into some metros now, and I'll take some comments first, but let me just start with Columbus. I always start with Columbus. People always ask, go over Columbus again. So I do. And then what we'll do is look at new listings, active listings, median sale price, days on market, all that good stuff in all these metros. And so today, just to tell you, I've got Columbus, Cleveland, Cincinnati. I always do those. Then folks requested Raleigh and Charlotte, North Carolina. I've got Washington, D.C., Northern Virginia. What else do I have on here? King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. Who knows, right? Riverside, California, Los Angeles, California, and Westchester County, New York. Should be interesting. If you have a metro you want me to analyze, put it below and I'll jump on it. Let's look at some of these comments. Weekly year-over-year numbers can be noisy because some holidays move around. That's true. Yeah, holidays did move around a little, but it's kind of our best data to use on a on a rolling weekly basis. So that's why I like using it. Kind of shows us kind of where things are moving. But yeah, it can be noisy. A lot of people are holding on their houses because if they sold and bought again, their interest rates would be higher. There's no reason to move if you have a low interest rate. Exactly. That's exactly right. Like, why move? Well, there's no reason to. There's no incentive to move at all. It's that move up buyer is gone. And it's boring. This is like boring stuff, right? Like the fact that people aren't moving and selling their current house doesn't please a lot of people. Like, a lot of people want to see them. Well, some people want to see the folks that own homes with low rates suffer for some reason, and they think that they're going to be in financial ruin. So they like to see them put their house on the market, but that's just not happening. I mean, I probably talk more people into keeping their homes than I do anything else in real estate. I mean, every seller I talk to, first thing out of my mouth is, maybe you should think about keeping this home. Like, really examine. And I think I've done a pretty good job with some, hopeful sellers and talking them out of selling. All right. Let's look at this one. ADP National Employment Report release indicated U.S. private sector employment increased 77,000 jobs in February. Economists have forecasted 148. Yeah, that job market number was rough, right? And you can see, it's plain as day. You can see what's happening with that 10-year treasury. It's going down. It is. And that's probably what the play is, right? To try to bring that 10-year note down in order to decrease mortgage rates. So, like, if mortgage rates fall a lot, like let's say they go to 5.5%. Let's say they go to under 6. Let's just under 6. With the current inventory we have right now, that's not good. That's not a good situation. You're going to have people come out that weren't going to buy that now are like, oh, rates are 5.8. Now I'll buy. There's nothing for sale that's good. I mean, we need a lot more inventory. You know, a lot more inventory. Oh, what's up, Chris? How you doing, man? from Cleveland. Ah, Westchester, New York. Oh, you must have been the person that requested this, right? Let me look. No, you're not. I had a guy, Luigi Cama, request Westchester. So there's somebody else who wants Westchester. Okay. Logan. Okay. Can I look at Logan, Ohio? Yeah, I can look at I can look at Hocking County, but I can't look at Logan, I don't think. At least not in my data. So I can look at Hocking County if that helps. I think that's Hocking. Hocking Hills. All right, great. Thanks for the suggestions, guys. You got more? Let me know. Give me a thumbs up, a like if you're watching this. Don't be a freeloader. All you got to do is hit the like button. All right, let's get back to this data. New listings in Columbus, Ohio. This is just for Columbus. Let's see where they're at. What's going on with this? They're down 1.1% year over year. It's ridiculous. There's just, you would think people would get the hint that, hey, or you would think that at some point pain would hit the system enough that, whoops, wrong screen. Here it is, Columbus, Ohio, new listings, my fault. You would think that pain would come and we would see new listings rise in these markets. But right now I'm not. 1.1% down year over year. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I've got buyers that are looking. I've got investors that are looking for houses right now. Can't find them. Active listings in Columbus, Ohio. Are they going up? They're up 13% year over year, but they're kind of just teetering, right? Because the new listings aren't going up. And this exercise I'm doing now is what you should do for your local market. Like get the data on new listings, get the data on active listings, get the data on days on market. And that'll kind of give you a clue as to where inventory is headed and where prices are headed maybe. All right, so that's active listings. Let's do pending sales for Columbus. Pending sales. I mean, I'm not even going to clear this chart to be able to see this. It's really hard to see. Oh, here we go. All right, pending sales up 1.1%. So that's one of the few metros that's up in pending sales. So when you have pending sales creep up at all, if new listings are down year over year, active listings are not going to rise. They're just not going to. But I do think that people may be tapped out in Columbus on prices because I'm seeing the prices start to soften a little. Like, look at this. Right now in Columbus, median sale price, $320,000, 0% year over year increase. So it's basically flat. All right. So prices aren't going parabolic anymore. I mean, look at the last 4 years in Columbus. You can see that every year the price has gone up and up and up. Like we didn't cross underneath the previous year at all over the last 4 years, but we're threatened to now. And look way back. I always think this is interesting. Look way back at the beginning of 2022. Median sale price 272. Now 320,000. We actually peaked in Columbus at 353 or 354. Yeah, 353 back last summer. We ended last year 328. Now 320. Okay. Let's do the next metro. And that would be, since Chris is on, we'll do Cleveland. Cleveland, Ohio. Cleveland, Ohio. Yeah, look at this in Cleveland. Chris and I actually talked to Chris. Let me put him on. I actually talked to Chris, this guy, yesterday and had a good conversation with him. And we were talking about the listings in the area and how bad they were, like how few new listings there were in Cleveland. It's just crazy. Down 3.4% year over year. I mean, people just don't, I don't know. Maybe because of the weather, maybe. Got an error in the data there. I got to repopulate it. My fault. Or Redfin's fault, I guess. Bear with me, guys. Sorry. I want to go to active listings now. All right, active listings in Cleveland. What are they doing? Look at this. Down 3.62% year over year. So there's less active listings in Cleveland versus last year. It's crazy. Everywhere else is up. Columbus is up 13%. Cleveland down. Probably one of the few metros that you're going to see active listings down year over year. It's yeah, that's just depressing. I think a lot of investors like Cleveland for some reason, right? Maybe because of houses are less expensive. I don't know. Pending sales in Cleveland, Ohio. What do we got? Down 9.9%. Holy Toledo. Like I thought they were bad nationally. They're down 10% basically in Cleveland. Well, that market's just frozen. Yeah. If I'm looking for a house in Cleveland, man, I'm definitely making a disrespectful offer if the house has been on the market for a while because there's just no turnover. There's not a lot of activity. So sellers are probably happy to get an offer. Like if the house has been on the market like, 30 days, 45 days. I mean, just to, as a side note, what I do on the MLS for myself and what you could ask your realtor to do is send you a list, like put you on an email that you'll get every day of all the homes that hit the market, or I'm sorry, all the homes that age past a certain time period. So like pick 60 days and tell them, I want to see a list every morning of all the homes in this area and this price point with this number of bedrooms, this number of bathrooms, in this school district, whatever, that are on the market for more than 60 days. And then you don't get anything that's on the market lower than 60 days. And when that thing hits the market at over 60 days and you're like, oh, all right, now it's in my feed, that's when you maybe go tour it and then make a disrespectful offer. That's something you could do to kind of weed out, the listings where the sellers aren't that motivated maybe yet. Just an idea, but that's what I would do. All right, that's pending. Now let's do median sale price. Man, Cleveland, Ohio, $217,000 for a median sale price. Now that's not all the areas around Cleveland, but it is if you look at the Cleveland metro area, that's the median sale price, 217, up 9% year over year. So obviously there's more price growth there in Cleveland. All right, let's do Cincinnati now. Cincinnati, Ohio. New listings in Cincinnati. What do we got? Down 3%. Crazy. Crazy. It's like I said, it's just depressing that their new listings aren't better in Ohio. You would hope that they would be, but hope doesn't really work, does it? All right, active listings. What do we got in Cincinnati? Active listings, 41% higher than last year. This number has just been high for a while now compared to the previous year. But again, there must just be a lot of homes that are not moving, that are just sitting there, but not a lot of great listings. Because look at pending sales down 4.6%, but active listings aren't really growing. I mean, they're elevated compared to the previous year, but they've been like that for a while. So, yeah, Cincinnati's frozen as well. They just have a lot more inventory than they did this time last year. All right, what else we got? That's Cincinnati. We're going to do median sale price in Cincinnati. Median sale price, $292,000. That's up about 7.3% year over year in the nasty natty. They're kind of like Columbus. Look at that. The price never dropped below the previous year. Never did. It just kept going up and up. Cincinnati peaked at $307,000. They ended last year at $285 and now $292. So, I mean, if you were someone who was like, you know what, I'm going to wait, and you're back in 2022, the median sale price was $227. Now $292. So it's gone up a lot. Yeah. What's that? $70,000 approximately. Is that right? A little less. 60,000. Still a lot though. All right, let's do the next metro. What do we got? Next metro is, well, let's do Westchester, since somebody was on with Westchester. Now, I don't think we're going to have to do the county level on this one, I think. Westchester. Westchester County, New York. I have no idea what I'm going to see here, but I'm interested to find out. It's like a surprise. Pending sales. Oh, I'm sorry. New listings. What in the world? Down 17%. Ain't no one listing a house there, man. They're like, no way. I'm not going to sell. That's like this is like super expensive area too, isn't it? I don't know. We'll see what the median sale price is, but it sounds expensive. Sounds like an expensive area. Active listings in Westchester County, New York. Wow. Look at that. Down 10%. What? A 4-year low in active listings. A 4-year low. And I don't talk about these charts at the bottom very much, but I'm probably going to start because they can provide some flavor for what's happening. Like this green line here is the rate of change. It's not the number. It's the actual rate of change of how much it's changing year over year. And so it's down 10%, but you can see that it's been dropping right this year. Like at one point it was down, it was up 2.36% active listings, but then they dropped to 2.78% year over year, then down 4.92%. Now they're all the way down to 10% off of last year. And it's a 4-year low right now. There's no doubt. Okay. Well, that's not fun if you live there. Jeez. These different markets fascinate me on how they, move and change compared to other markets. Look at pending sales too. Pending sales down 13%. I mean, you have active listings, new listings, and pending sales all down. Nobody's buying, nobody's selling. It's just a frozen market. I'd like to know. Hey, Shazel, you wanted to know about Westchester, New York. What are you seeing there? What's happening with Westchester? Like, are you seeing this data? Are you seeing like nothing for sale? Not a lot of activity, just people aren't buying and selling? That's what I'm seeing on the charts anyway. Wow. Okay. Let's look at median sale price. Median sale price in Westchester, New York. Yeah, look at that. $696,000. That's up 6% year over year. It's for this time of year, it's a 4-year high for this time of year. Last year, you peaked at $869,000. But it looks like every year it goes up in the summer and then down. I mean, the seasonality is pretty pronounced, right? So will you top 869 grand in 2025? I don't know, but at that point that was up 10%, and you ended at 718. Again, now 696. That's a 4-year high for this time of the year. Still up 6% year over year. I just don't see how in a place like this you're going to have price discovery if there's nothing for sale and there's nobody buying, right? That makes it hard to find comps when there's no sales. It just is. It's hard to find comparable sales to comp things against. So, all right, let's go to the next market. Let's see. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Let's do Hocking County in Ohio. Hocking County, Ohio. Now this chart's going to look goofy because there's not a whole lot of inventory or things for sale. Like, look, there's only 7 new listings. So it's not a whole lot. That's up 16% year over year in Hocking Hills, or Hocking, Ohio, I guess. Or is it Logan County, Ohio? Is that where Logan is? You have to tell me. Am I messing this up? Let me look real quick. Stand by. Oh, my fault. It's Logan County. I thought it would be Hocking County, but it's not. It's Logan County. Logan County, Ohio. Probably going to look very similar. Yeah. Well, there's a few more listings, 15. Huh. So new listings in Logan County, Ohio, that's up, or I guess it's flat year over year. There's 15. Not a lot. Huh. All right, let's look at active listings. Active listings in Logan County, Ohio. 149, that's up 6.43% year over year. It's a little more active inventory out there, but probably not a ton. I mean, you're not seeing anything that's probably amazing, like a flood of inventory. Pending sales, how many homes are going into contract? Up 23% year over year, but there's a very small sample size. Let's look at median sale price. It's all over the place. Look at median sale price, $238,000. That's up 10% year over year. It actually looked like you peaked in 2023 at $310,000. But again, the sample size is so small. So if you ask for Logan, Ohio, what you should do is tune into my Ohio update. I'm going to do an all Ohio update using like MLS data. And I'll do that soon. So watch out for that. And you can join me on that one. And I'll be able to have a better picture of these smaller counties in Ohio with very small data that they have. So look for that. Apologies, but I don't control the data. All right, let's do Washington, D.C. Everybody wants to know about Washington, D.C. So let's do Metro and D.C. Here we go. Washington, D.C. New listings in DC. All these layoffs, right? Did they affect anybody? Let's find out. 8.3% up in new listings. Okay. So nationally, you're up 2.3%. In DC, you're up 8.3. There's definitely an uptick there. What else we got? Active listings in DC. Yeah, look at that. Up 9.42%. It's a 4-year high right now. Again, you're going to see the pain. Whatever pain is in the housing market, you're going to see it in the new listings, and that'll trickle through to the active listings. And so it looks like DC does have some active inventory that's growing. Not a ton, probably, right? I don't know, 9,100 listings. Is that a lot? I don't live there, so I'm not sure. But it's obviously up compared to last year. Pending sales, look at this. Wow, down 10%. That almost is like a perfect storm, right? You've got pending sales down. You've got new listings up. You got active inventory rising because pending sales are down, but new listings are going up. And that'll just add more supply to the market. The more supply you have, obviously, the better for buyers. And the more competition for sellers. This is just how it works. Pretty simple. Median sale price. Look at that, though. Median sale price hasn't trickled through to the listings or any pain in the market hasn't trickled through to the price yet. 558 grand, up 4% year over year. It's going straight up, basically. Yeah, straight up. And they also wanted to know about Northern Virginia. Let me look real quick. Let's look at Baltimore while we're at it. Let's do that. Let's look at Baltimore. I don't know if you guys watch Todd Sachs, though. I think he wants a crash worse than anybody. He's like crash king over there, man. All right. New listings in Baltimore, Maryland. Only up 0.3%. No pain there yet. At least it hasn't shown up in the listings. Active listings. 5% year over year. That's it in Baltimore. Oh, my goodness. Not a lot of inventory. Not a lot. Pending sales. What do we got there? 4-year low in pending sales. So people aren't selling. I guess they're putting on the market a little bit. There's a slight uptick there. But year over year, pending sales are down a ton, down 13%. People are definitely not buying. Probably going to take a little while longer to see any of those layoffs really affect the market. But you're going to see it in the new listings first. Let's look at median sale price in Baltimore, Maryland. 4-year high right now, 369 grand, up 5% year over year. So prices haven't crashed there yet. Baltimore peaked, all-time peak last year, 411 grand in June, ended at, what's that? Ended at 9% up, 388 grand. But now 369. It'll probably head up this summer, I would imagine. Okay, what else we got here? Let's do the next market is, I did that one. I did that one. I got Raleigh. Raleigh, North Carolina. What's happening here? I just heard Melody Wright say that Raleigh's crashing. Like Raleigh's doomed. Like, forget it. It's over. The end of days are here. Let's find out. New listings up 11%. So up, I guess 12%, you want to call it that. That's a 4-year high in new listings. Okay. So how are active listings doing? Are we seeing more homes on the market? Wow, up 36%, 37% in active listings. And it's going up. Yeah, and look at the rate of change. The rate of change right now, 36%. At one point, they were at 40% up year over year, but now 36. So active inventory in Raleigh is increasing. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. Pending sales, how are they doing? Wow, look at that. Down 16%. So a place like Raleigh seems like it has all the makings for a potential correction in prices. But it'll be interesting to see if it actually has trickled through yet to the price. Yeah, look at that. It's going down. It's still up 2% year over year at 422 grand, but it's headed the wrong direction. It's headed down, and it's threatening, and it probably will cross 2024. So it's possible that you end up, going underneath 2024, maybe 23 and 22 this year, maybe. And you can see that maybe happening because of that extra inventory that's on the market. You got to have that. Got to have that to make a difference in the price. All right, that was Raleigh. Now we got Charlotte. They wanted to know about Charlotte too. Now, why this one always fascinates me because it doesn't come, it must be out of a different market or something. Why Charlotte doesn't come up. I'll come back to that one. Austin. Somebody else wanted to know about Austin. Austin, Texas. What do they got? This is always a fun one to look at because this shows you what a real crazy market looks like. New listings. It's crazy, though, that new listings are not up more. Only 8. They're actually down 8.8%. So I'm shocked at that. You would think a lot more pain would be in the market. Guess not. Active listings in Austin. Only up 5. Well, I guess you round up 5% year over year. I would think there would be a lot more active listings, wouldn't you? I'm shocked, like completely. I would think new listings would be way up, active listings way up based on everything I hear about, but they're not. Okay. Pending sales. What are they doing? Pending sales are down. Oh man, come on. There we go. Pending sales, 700 units, down 8.3% year over year. So yeah, there is pain because people aren't buying, but new listings aren't skyrocketing and active inventory isn't skyrocketing. Let's look at prices though. This will be interesting to see because you can see where prices are now. Look at prices. Oh my goodness. They're going back up, unfortunately, but they're down 4% year over year. So this is like one of the markets where prices are actually lower. There's not a lot of them, but this is one of them. Down 4%, $431,000. It's a 4-year low. Look at where the peak was back in 2022, 547. Now 431. So you could probably officially call Austin, Texas, a crash. You could actually call it that. A lot of people define it as 15%, 20%, however you want to slice it. It's bad there. It's bad. I'd love to know from somebody, like I haven't seen anybody any horror stories about Austin from somebody who actually bought and sold there. But I'd love to hear from someone who owns a house there and has been trying to sell it and can't sell it and, what they've been going through. I'd love to, if you guys know somebody, I'd like to hear from them just to figure out, from on the ground, from a non-biased standpoint, what they've been experiencing with their home sale. Austin's horrible. All right. Let me jump back into some of these comments real quick. You guys always have good stuff to add. Redfin CEO Glenn Kelman recently appeared on Barron's Roundtable and discussed the state of the housing market. He explicitly said the market has shifted definitively towards a buyer's market. Yeah, I would agree. Like It's a buyer's market if you're willing to, if you have some patience and you have some inventory in your market. But if you don't have inventory in your market, or if it's not great inventory, it's not really a buyer's market. But I understand his point. I understand that. And he's pointing probably to the fact, well, and thanks for the comment, but I think he's pointing to the fact that days on market has gone up. But what he's not looking at from the C-suite is the fact that a lot of that inventory is things that people don't want. It's just not great inventory. And I'll show you that here in a minute. But yeah, it's always interesting to hear from Glenn Kelman, see what he has to say, right? What else you got to say? Kelman noted that while the inventory is still not very high, demand is in retreat, tilting power to buyers. Right. Yeah, I think it has been in retreat. I guess the uncertainty of the economy will probably make it go more in retreat or retreat further, however you want to say it. But the big unknown now is interest rates. Like everybody was banking on interest rates not dropping. I think for a while they were banking on interest rates dropping. Then the narrative was they're not dropping anytime soon, like higher for longer, that whole narrative. Well, now you can see mortgage rates starting to fall. And I have heard and I've read different, articles about how the 10-year treasury is a focus of the administration. That's their focus, is a 10-year treasury. So if they focus on that and they get inflation down and job losses created, the Federal Reserve will change their rate, but that 10-year treasury will go down, and that spread between the 30-year mortgage and a 10-year treasury will definitely shrink. And you're going to see lower mortgage rates. Again, if you don't have inventory right now that you can go out and buy, what makes you think you're going to have it when rates drop? Because a lot of people are going to sell their home? Maybe, but if you need to sell, you're going to sell now. You're not going to wait for rates. If you're like, I got to sell my home because I'm in distress, you're going to sell now. So anyway, I get it. Buyers are in retreat. I think they are right now anyway. Okay, that's Austin. Let's do next metro. They wanted Houston. Got to do Houston. Houston, Texas. Houston, Texas. Median sale price. We don't want to know about that right now. New listings in Houston. What do we got? Up 5.1% year over year. Some actual activity there. Great. Active listings. What are they doing? Going down. They're up 14% year over year. I'm shocked it's not more given all the new construction there. Because even if the new construction isn't 100% reported on Redfin, you're going to see a bunch of, the homes that are hitting the market aren't going to sell at their existing homes because all the competition supposedly. So that number would continue to go up, but it looks like it's kind of going sideways or down right now. Will that change in the spring selling season? Who knows? Who knows? Pending sales, a 4-year low, down 15%. Man, if you're a realtor in Houston, you got to be hurting. You got to be hurting, right? Got to be. I imagine there's a lot of realtors. Now, this is a generalization, so don't be mad at me. But I would imagine there's a lot of realtors in Houston who drive really expensive cars and own really expensive big trucks. Just from my time and travels, in different parts of the U.S. and being in Houston for a while for work, I'm guessing that that's the case. And I'm guessing they're having a problem right now making those payments because they probably certainly didn't pay cash for it. And pending sales are so bad and the market's so frozen and locked up, and demand, as Glenn Kelman pointed out, buyers are in retreat, not selling a lot of homes, and real estate's all about transactions if you're a commission-driven agent. So I'd imagine a lot of those realtors in Houston are going to have to give away their big trucks and their Mercedes-Benz. Just a guess. All right. That was Houston. Let's do we got to do median sale price in Houston. Oh, look at this. Found a place that's down 1% year over year, like Austin. Not like Austin, but Austin was down too. $329,000 in Houston. And it kind of hasn't really separated by each year, right? It's kind of been all jumbled together. Like it's not like every year they're beating the previous year all year. Now, last year they did end $336,000, up 2%. And they peaked, it looks like last year, 4% up, $353,000. It's crazy that Columbus, Ohio is the same price as Houston, Texas. Never thought I would see that. Never thought it. All right, that was Houston. What do we got next? King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. I don't know if that one is even on here. No. So I just got to find this real quick. I should have done this before the live, but I forgot. King of Prussia. I just need to find out what county it's in. It is Montgomery County. Ooh, yeah, this is a good one, I think, because this one has been kind of nuts with prices, I believe. So I got to go to the county level. You can do that on Redfin. Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. What do we got? New listings in Montgomery County. Down 13%, call it 14%. Wow. Yeah, a lot of these, the new listings are really, really bad. I mean, I didn't think it could get any worse, but it's pretty bad. Active listings, look at that. 4-year low, down 3% in active listings. You got to think median sale price is going to be elevated, right? Let's check pending sales. Pending sales down 15%. A lot of these markets have the same story. No selling, no buying. Active listings, not impressive. Things just rotted, stale on the market. The same houses all the time. By the way, that's why you see it. We're going to look at Zillow here in a minute and look at some actual listings from a few different cities I found that I thought were really interesting. You're going to see what's happening with all this data once it gets to a actual real life example, because sellers will take their home off the market and then they'll cancel the listing and then they'll relist the home. And when they relist the home, it comes across as a new listing, but it's not a new listing. It's just canceled and relisted. And I think that you're seeing that in the data. You're just seeing new listings that are being recycled, or listings that are being recycled. And that's why people aren't buying them, because they didn't want them the first time when it was overpriced. Then it's listed again, and it's like a little tiny discount, like 1%, a 1% discount. And it's listed, and people are still like, I don't want it. You drop it another $100,000, maybe I'll buy it. So I think that's what you're seeing in some of this activity. Median sale price in King of Prussia or Montgomery County, $444,000. That's up 3% year over year. Last year, they peaked at 472, up 6% year over year. They ended at 431, up 7% year over year. So it actually did drop below last year, the median sale price at one point, but it's still elevated overall. No signs of crashing. There's no inventory there. I can't imagine it crashing because there's no inventory. No, it's all kind of a locked up frozen market. And actually the comment from this person, the name of this viewer, Erat's Ghost, that was the name of, I hope I pronounced that right. They asked about King of Prussia or Montgomery County. They said, if you want to talk about an area that's frozen, check out King of Prussia. Some stuff moves, but it's nothing. He's right. Good call. I didn't see that comment before I looked at the data. That's awesome, though, that the data confirms it. Okay, next one. Riverside, California. We'll do Riverside County. How about that? Because there's a Riverside city. But we'll do Riverside County, California. Now, Riverside, California, like that Inland Empire area, was a big hotspot of the 2008 debacle. I actually lived out there during that period of time. I had friends that had grew up in other countries. Actually, one friend in particular from Indonesia. And when that crash hit, him and his wife worked at Countrywide Savings, Countrywide Loan. I don't know if they're savings. They're just a countrywide loan company. And when they went out of business, they both worked there. They also had like some kind of crazy, interest only or negative AM loan And they literally in the middle of the night packed everything up and left. Like left the dogs, left the cars, left it all and moved back. They were like, you know what? We're out of here. So, and I had a lot of friends they had ridiculous houses out there. And I thought, how can they afford this? But they obviously couldn't. So new listings in Riverside, 8% up year over year. Wow. I guess that's good. But how are active listings doing? Wow. What in the world? Look at that. Hmm. They went from 8,300 listings at the end of February. I'm sorry, end of January. Now 6,200 listings. Like they lost 2,000 listings in a month. So they're down right now in Riverside County, down 5.17%. So I can only assume one of two things. One, pending sales are great. Or two, they've taken them off the market. You're seeing a lot of that. You're hearing a lot of that in the news now and on YouTube. I did a video about this recently. Delisted properties just being pulled from the market or exploding. Some of that is that they're relisting them. But if there was a lot of that happening, you would see that in the new listing data would be growing more, I think. But a lot of them are just pulling them because they're like, you know what? We're not going to sell this thing. Why try? Like enough's enough. Nah, look at pending sales. Nothing. Only up 0.6%. So it's not pending sales. My guess is people are just taking their homes off the market. A lot of that's called wish pricing, right? Like, hey, I wish my house would sell for $800,000. It won't. All right. Well, I'll take it off the market. If I get that price, I'll sell it. If I don't get that price, I'll just take it off the market and just, try again later. Like I don't need to sell. I want to sell. Big difference. Not a lot of need to sell people. There's just not. Otherwise, you would see it in the data. Look at the median sale price. Yeah, I mean, it hasn't moved hardly at all, right? 615. Last year it ended what? 612. Then it ended 612. It peaked 622 last year. This year peaked 617. So it's like the market isn't reacting on prices because there's nothing selling. But active listings, there were 2,000 that were pulled off the market. That's a lot. I keep looking for this distress that I hear about, like massive amounts of distress. And you guys tell me if I'm nuts or not. But like I just watched this video from Real Estate Mindset, and he said that 78% of sellers are distressed sellers. But the reason why he said that was because in the article, it was a Zillow article he was covering. Zillow said that 78% of sellers are selling because of a life change. It didn't say they were distressed. It said of a life change. So like, hey, I've got to change my job. I've got a new kid. Oh, I need a bigger place. I'm getting older. I need to downsize. Whatever. But I think he changed that narrative from life things to distress. Distress, and I'm surprised because I think he has been in distress with his home. And distress is like when I have to sell now. Like I'm putting it on the market today, sell it, or I'm done. That's not what's happening. If it was, you would see it in the numbers. You'd see a lot more new listings, a lot more active listings. You'd probably see more pending sales because people would be cutting their price as motivated or distressed sellers. They'd be cutting their price left and right. Like to the point, I'm not talking about small price cuts. Those are exploding. I'm talking about big price cuts. Like I'm listing my house for 800 G's. I'm going to cut the price by 100,000. That's a price cut that says I'm in distress. A price cut from 800 to 790, that's not a distressed price cut. That's all right, well, I'll cut the price a little and see what happens. Anyway, that's how I take it. I think it's crazy to say that there's a ton of distressed sellers out there. I'm just not seeing them in the information. I mean, look at Riverside. We're down in active listings. I only have a little bit more new listings. And new listings nationally would be a lot higher than 2.5%. because we've been so bad in new listings lately. All right, enough ranting there. But tell me if I'm nuts. I'd love to know what you guys think. All right, that was Riverside. I did Westchester. Okay, so let me go to one more here, and that is Los Angeles. I really want to see what's happening in LA. Oh, you know what? That's what I want to do. Los Angeles, CA. New listings in Los Angeles up 20% year over year. So a lot more new listings. That's good. If you're there, I guess you're maybe getting some relief from some of the lack of inventory. But look at this. Look at active listings though, down 16%. Very similar to Riverside. Maybe there was a lot of fires in Riverside too. Maybe that's one of the reasons why the active listings went off. Let's see. That's just crazy. Look at that. Look at that line just go bam down. Yeah, it's got to be because things were pulled from the market probably, right? Like there's a fire and your home's destroyed. You're not going to sell it anymore. Although I will show you a house for sale right now there, or a lot that's been burnt out. Yeah, that's a weird chart. The housing nerd's confused. All right, pending sales. What are those doing? Only up 8.5%. Well, I guess that's good. There's more activity. People are buying because there are more new listings, but the active listings are down a ton. Maybe the active listings are down that much because pending sales are up 8.5%. So they're actually buying some of that inventory. Median sale pricing, Los Angeles. Well, for getting any kind of price relief, $923,000, up 5% year over year. Man, wow. That's bizarre. Not bizarre. Not the right term. That's demoralizing. I bet if you're there, you just keep seeing prices go up and up and up. They peaked last year at 932, but they're dang close to the peak now. 932 last year. LA ended at 903 grand at the end of last year. And they really only went underneath. I think the black line's 2022. They really only went underneath that a little bit for little snippets, but then ended the year higher. So no crash there. At least not yet. All right. Let me see comments, see what you guys want. People who were once participating in bidding wars are now set to get a good deal. That's the change in 2025, Kelman explained. Oh, Glenn Kelman? Huh. People who were once participating in bidding wars are now set to get a good deal. Okay, I see his point. Yeah, I mean, I think the difference is, again, that if you're, you just have to be patient still. You have to be patient and find that seller who needs to sell, doesn't want to sell, needs to sell. And there's not a ton of them, but they do exist out there. And those are the people that may be able to give you a deal. My area, prices are not dropping. Strong demand, lots of competition from other buyers. I made it to closing at a good price against the odds. Where do you live? Sinister Spatula. That's a cool name. You must be a chef, I can only assume, or your hobby is cooking. That's my guess. But yeah, just tell me, where do you live, Sinister? I'd like to know. What market is that? Appreciate the info. You're welcome, Andrew. Appreciate you. From Facebook. Look at that, a Facebook participant. Facebook sucks for pushing out videos and stuff, but I keep using it. Chevy Talks. Was there not foreclosure prevention? Maybe that's why we're behind with distress. Homeowners who would have had a foreclosure did not, because they're protected and still protected and still are protected. Exactly. Yeah, I should mention that a lot more. You're absolutely correct. There's a ton of foreclosure prevention, a ton of it. But I guess the difference is that if you are struggling financially, and you have equity, which a lot of people do right now, or you don't owe anything on your house at all, and you're really struggling with distress, you'd think you'd sell. unless you can go into foreclosure prevention, like you're saying, and not have to sell and not have to make a payment. If you don't have to make a payment, why would you? I'm not saying you should do that and go into that program, but you get my point. So you're right. There is a lot of foreclosure prevention. That's probably going to continue, I would guess. I would guess that's going to continue. Yeah, it's like something, when I looked it up, it was like 500,000 borrowers are in some type of foreclosure prevention. Yep. Good call. Good call. All right. Now I want to show you guys this. So I pulled these from Zillow as an example of kind of what's happening out there with these price cuts. So check this out. Well, I'm going to go to this one first. So this is an affordable house in Columbus, like the Columbus area. That's where this one is. It's just like a little tiny house, right? Like what, 1,300 square feet, 3-bed, 2-bath, cute little home. It's like a little patio home. And it's actually in a pretty good location, good school system, all that stuff. But it's been on the market for 252 days on Zillow. 252 days. This is pretty funny. Likely to sell faster than 93% nearby. Oh, it's actually in contract now. Look at that. I saved this, a couple weeks ago. Now it's in contract. Well, let's just look down and see what happened. Oh, it went in contract just yesterday, or is that today? That's today. It went in contract. Huh. Look at that. Just when I highlighted, it goes in contract. But you can see what happened back in, it was put on the market September 6th. No, I'm sorry. Put on the market June 27th, and then had a price change, 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 price change. And finally, just today, it went into contract. So congrats to that person for actually putting it into contract finally. I mean, it started out at what, 339 grand. And it was in, maybe it went in contract for 319. That's what was listed anyway when it went into contract. So somewhat of a discount, but that's why now more than ever, you have to price your home right. Like if you price it too high, it's going to sit unless it has something extraordinary that everybody wants. Even those homes are sitting sometimes. But let me go back to some of these other ones because I thought that was pretty interesting. Let me see. Let's see. This one in Cleveland is crazy. Look at this one, folks. This is nuts. Look at this house in Cleveland. $3.4 million in Cleveland, Ohio, or Cuyahoga County, Ohio. But it's like a compound. I mean, pretty extraordinary, right? I mean, this is like something from like Gone with the Wind or something. I don't know. Look at that. You got a lot of money and you're like, where should I live? I mean, you're going to get your bang for your buck in the Midwest. I think this house is 30,000 square feet, if I'm right. Let me look back at the data. Yeah, 30,000 square feet. What? I mean, it has like rooms have rooms, right? So like maybe like an NFL player or LeBron James, maybe buy something like this. But not the normal person, obviously. Yeah, beautiful house though, right? But look at the listing. 454 days on Zillow. And look at this history, is just completely outrageous. And I was going to show you some of the tactics here that Zillow uses. Listed for sale back in 2008. I just want to make sure it never closed. And it never did. They've had it for sale several times. Look at that. 2008 was listed at $7.9 million. Then they cut the price to 6.4 million. Then they cut the price to 500,000. Then it was removed. The listing was removed. Then it was listed for sale again, like, what's that? A few months later in 2012. Then it was removed. Then it was listed for sale again. Then it was removed, listed for sale again. Price change down to 3.9 million in 2016. Listing removed, listed for sale. Price change. Like, what's crazy is the price change went down to 4 million at one point, and then when they relisted the home, it after taking it off the market at 3.9, they relisted it at 4.9. Like, what they do, like upgrade the flooring in 30,000 square feet. I'm being facetious. Like, that would be like what, probably $500,000 or something. It could be more. I don't know. But like, what upgrades are you going to do on a 30,000 square foot home that haven't already been done? 4.4 million price change, listing removed at 4.4, listed for sale again at 4.5 back in 2023. Listing removed, listed for sale, listed and removed, listed for sale, price change 3.65. Now price change to $3.45 million. Man. So yeah, a home like this is tough to sell in a market like Ohio, probably any market, but particularly Ohio, because your buyer pool is so small. It's really tiny. But what I really wanted to show you here was the fact that on Zillow, when you're looking at these listings, you can see how the listing was removed and then listed for sale again. A lot of times Zillow doesn't catch or won't show you the fact if you use the filter and filter for houses that have been listed for over 90 days or over 180 days. It's not going to show you all the homes you want to see. You actually have to go in one by one and look at them. And I'll show you how I sort them here in a second to maybe find a deal. But yeah, if you're looking for a $3.4 million home, then come to Ohio, because maybe you can make the offer at, like, if I was going to buy that house, I haven't seen it obviously, but if I was going to make an offer, I may make it at, like, I don't know, 1.9, 1.8, 1.5. I don't know. I mean, they've shaved $3 million off the price so far. What the heck's another couple $1 million? What are the taxes? I'm just curious. What are the taxes on this house? 53 G's a year. But it's only assessed for 735. There's the trick. So assessed for 735 right now. If you bought it at $3 million, what are your taxes going to be? 100 grand a year, 150 grand a year. A lot of people get caught in that. A lot of investors get caught with that. They'll buy something from a landlord that has owned a property for 30 years, 20 years. The assessed value is nothing. Their taxes are nothing. They forget the fact when they close on that thing and it's recorded, their taxes are going to skyrocket. Anyway, I thought this one was crazy. All right, let's look at a couple more here. This is fun. That was kind of the most extreme one I found. This one, though, I featured this one on a video recently. This is a condo in downtown Columbus. Now, I don't live in New York City. I live in Columbus, Ohio. So luxury condos they don't have a big buyer pool. This was kind of interesting too. 3-bed, 6-bath. I mean, maybe the date is wrong, but like, and I've never owned a condo or a house that's $2 million. So maybe they have a different idea that I'm not thinking of, but like, why would you have 3 beds and 6 baths? Like, hey, I'm going to have a bunch of people over to my condo. I've got enough bathrooms. I just don't have anywhere for them to sleep. What? I don't know. And you've got the beautiful skyline of Columbus, Ohio here. I mean, it has to be a very specific buyer for something like this, right? Very specific. Hey, look, the payment's only $15,000 a month. Not bad. Not bad at all. It's been on the market 176 days according to Zillow, but look down here. This is where they get you. Huh. This data has been modified since the last time I looked at it. 4/12/2021, it was listed for sale at 3.45 million. Then it was removed, then listed for sale again 2022 at 3.45 million. Then the price changed to 2.9, then listing removed, then listed for sale again at $2.371 million. The point is, it says 176 days on Zillow up here, right? Right there, 176 days. That's not right. It's been on the market for a lot longer than that. So if you search for homes with a price cut or homes with that have been on the market, I think the selection is 180 days. This one doesn't show up because it's saying, well, it's 176 days. But if you look back at the history, it's been for sale for a lot longer than that. It's just been removed and relisted. So don't pay attention to those filters. At least I don't. I just go in and look at them. And so, and I'll show you how I do that again in a minute. Let me go to my saved homes. So I've got one in, that was Columbus again. Let's look at this one in New Albany. So New Albany is the home of the New Albany is the home of the Intel project, the new Intel Gigafactory. It's like 10 minutes from where I live. And I don't live in New Albany. That's further west. And the homes there are really nice. It's actually the home of limited brands. So like Bath and Body Works, Express. Are there still Express stores? I don't know. Abercrombie and Fitch, that type of stuff. It's the home of that company. And Lex Wexner. 414 days on Zillow. Now it's new construction, but look at these price cuts. And I thought these price cuts were funny. Look at this. Listed for sale back in early 2024 at $1.698 million. Then they cut the price to 1.693, 1.688, 1.683, 1.678, and so on and so on and so on. Just little incremental price cuts. And now it's 1.633 and people still aren't buying it. This is a trick as well. If you change the price on the MLS, if I go in and have a house that's listed at $100,000 and I change it to $99,999, that price difference, that $1 price change, will then put it back into the top of the feed for buyers, right? So if you're a buyer that's getting MLS data from a realtor, it's going to pop back at the top of the feed and say, hey, look, price reduced. It's going to be in red, right? Price cut or price reduced, depending on what MLS you have. And that is a trick people will use. I mean, they reduced it like $1,000, $1,500 they cut it. Was there any strategy with that? Probably not. It's probably like, well, we'll just cut it a little bit, put it back at the top of the feed. Maybe that'll spur somebody to buy it. It's kind of a classic trick. And they cut it almost every month. You can see it. Well, here they changed the price like after a couple days, 3 days. Like one day they changed it, then 3 days later they cut the price again. But it says it's new construction, so I don't know. But it's not selling. It's been on the market a while. Must be overpriced. That's the way it is. Let's look at another one. Let's look at another one. Here's one in Pacific Palisades, California. Here's one of those empty lots in California where the fires were. And you can see it was from the fires. Like there's the overhead map. There's kind of the subdivision plot, right? And the lot itself. And that's the satellite view. It's sad. I mean, look at all that burnout area. Wow. Look at that picture. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Horrible, right? There was the house, I guess. And there's the chimney. Good grief. The pool's still there. I bet it was an amazing house, though. Has a crazy view. Crazy view. And what do they want for it? $2.95 million. Gee, wow, wow, wow. Wow, 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 wow. 180-degree ocean and city light views. I bet it is. So that lot, burnout lot, $2.9 million, you're going to have to actually scrap the whole lot, right? Clear it all off and then rebuild. That's going to be like it could be like a $15, $20 million house when you're done, I would think. Look at the price history. I thought this was interesting. Back in 2011, it was listed for 1.4 million. They bought it at 1.5 million. So they bought that house at 1.5 and now they're selling just the land by the way, that needs cleared. How much is that going to be? That could be $500,000 by itself. Now they're selling that land for just $2.95 million. Now, I don't know if they're going to get that or not, but I have this saved. So I'm going to go back and look at it again later and find out. All right, I got a couple more, and then I'll stop boring you with this, but I think it's kind of interesting. I had one in Denver. Here's a condo in Denver, Ohio. Denver, Colorado. Wazy Street. Again, like super nice condo, right? Like those cabinets and everything are sick. The under cabinet lighting. It's nice. Man, that TV is massive. Or is that a fireplace? I don't know, man. That TV is huge. $1.85 million, 2-bed, 3-bath, 1,400 square feet. Holy shnikes. 671 days on Zillow. Man. Same situation. Look at this. Listed, okay, they sold it. They bought it $1.7 million. They listed it for sale in 2023 for $2.29 million. Maybe they did a bunch of upgrades. I don't know. But then they dropped it by $100,000. Then they dropped it by $30,000. $1.99 million. Then they listed it for rent for $8,900 a square foot. By the way, if you want to find out if something would even come close to cash flowing, just do the 1% rule. So if your house is $100,000 or the place you're buying is $100,000, if you can rent it for $1,000 a month, you're somewhere in the realm of possibilities of a cash flowing. Not saying it will. A lot of times with taxes and insurance right now, it won't cash flow, and the debt, the way the debt rate is, but being that, interest rates are 7% or 6.5, whatever, but it's a good kind of litmus test, quick test. So this tells me that this would maybe be, I would value this as an investor at like $800,000, $900,000, maybe, but probably lower than that, but certainly not for 1.9. My point is, if you listed it for rent at $8,900, you've got to have, like, it's either they paid cash for it, they got a low debt rate, because I can't imagine that covering their monthly, the monthly cost that they're into it for. It looks like it was then listed for sale and for rent at $7,900 and $1.9 million. Then they listed it for rent at $6,900. I can't even say these numbers are so crazy. And then $6,200, then $5,900. Then the listing was removed. So it says it's for sale. I'm pretty sure, right? Yeah, for sale, but it's like they keep trying to rent this thing and sell it, and they can't do either. Maybe because it's over $1 million and it's only a 2-bedroom place, right? Like, it's a nice condo. Don't get me wrong. It's nice, but it's only 2 bedrooms. I don't know. I don't live in Denver, obviously, but that's pretty shocking. All right, do I have one more? I think I have one more, and this is a flip I wanted to show you. You could tell it's a flip. Where is it? Must not be on here. My fault. Let's look at this one. So here's a house, $424,000. It's in Columbus. And 181 days on Zillow. Let's see what's going on with it. Price change, 424. So it looks like they actually, oh yeah, I wanted to show you this one. So they listed it for sale back in, man, I got to go way down here. Look at all these price changes they've had. Listed for sale 9/20/2023, year and a half ago or so, at $412,000. And look at this. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then they took it off the market. Then they put it back on the market, took it off the market, put it back on the market. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 price changes again. Now $424,900. But you can see that they're barely moving the price. Like, this price change went from $439,900 to $439,888. So they changed this price by $12. Is that right? Yeah, $12. And that they did that to put it back at the top of the feed. right? I mean, that's really why they did it. It's just, it's completely, it's, it's what's happening now. That's why I have the price reduce sign back there. A lot of prices that are getting cut, just not a lot of great inventory on the market. So this one still hasn't sold at that price. And it's a cool looking house. Like, I mean, it's just a normal house. Like there's nothing about it that's bad. It's an older home, but it's got nice floors. It's kind of open looking. It's a ranch. It's kind of a cool, like retro looking kitchen. I don't know about that backsplash, but like it's empty, so you could move right in. I don't know. Not a bad house, just overpriced. Yeah, obviously just overpriced. So there's no doubt that people are cutting prices. They are. All right, so this is what I was going to show you how I look at Zillow real quick and how I do it. So once I have like the search set up as far as the prices go and the area and all that jazz, then I go over here to where it says sort, and I always sort by newest. They don't have oldest; they only have newest. So I go to newest, and then I scroll to the bottom, and whoops, sorry, hold on a second. Let me to change the search. All right, so there's 122 results in this search. Yeah, I sort by newest. And then I scroll down to the bottom and I look at the last listing first. So I go to page 3, and page 3 has what homes have been on the market the longest. And that's how I do it. If you go by the filter, like there's a filter on Zillow where you can come down and it says days on Zillow down here. That doesn't work. That doesn't work at all. It just doesn't. I don't know why, but it doesn't. So I just look at all the listings for the type of house I want to buy and then go to the bottom, go to the very last listing, and those have been on the market the longest. So hopefully that helped. But anyway, I thought this was interesting to look at some of these houses and how long they've been on the market. All right, no other markets you want me to analyze, I take it? If you do and you watch this on the replay, just drop it in the comments and I'll do one on the next live. All right. Well, good luck out there. And I'd love to hear some stories as to what you're seeing on the market. If you're buying a home, what you're, what's happening with it. What you're, if you had some success out there, I'd love to hear about it. So please leave a comment, join me on the next live and tell me all about your experience. Are you getting good deals? Are you not getting good deals? What's happening? And we will talk to you on the next live. Have a good day. I'm out.